The thoughts are get Quinnen Williams signed before Hard Knocks. And I believe the Jets for 3 weeks knew they were going to be on Hard Knocks. Quinnen Williams was going to sign no matter what. The Jets were going to sign him before camps were going to start. He didn't want to join minicamp. And does it hurt Quinnen Williams? Not really. I've seen his training. He's been running and working out with his brother and a bunch of defensive linemen on the Jets. He's been in the gym together with Mekhi Becton. Quinnen Williams was going to be ready for the season. And anybody that thought that the Jets were going to have problems signing Quinnen Williams is an idiot. Because Robert Saleh, when he was on the Rich Eisen show, when he asked him about Quinnen Williams and the contract, he was not worried because he knew the Jets were going to sign Quinnen Williams. The Jets had to situate the whole Aaron Rodgers contract, see how they're going to value 1 year to the next, figure out how the cap works. And this year they wanted to keep open cap space because if they need to add an offensive lineman or an offensive player, if somebody gets hurt, they can absolutely do that. The Jets are absolutely a top 7 favorite to win the Super Bowl. I think the fact that you add Quinnen Williams to this defense, you have a top 3 defense. Last year you had a top 5. Every single player practically is still on this roster. Maybe Kwan Alexander is not. You add Woods, you add Jefferson too. Defensive linemen that are going to have to learn the scheme. But besides that, the Jets are positioned to succeed this year defensively. The offensive side of the ball, it depends on Aaron Rodgers' health. That offensive line is going to be questioned early. Who is going to start at left tackle? Is it Dwayne Brown or Mekhi Becton? How healthy is Elijah Vera Tucker? Who's going to start at center? A lot of these free agents that they brought in just didn't work. They have a new guy, Nathaniel Hackett, who was brought in to lure Aaron Rodgers. Now, Nathaniel Hackett has succeeded as an offensive coordinator for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. His 2 best seasons, his back-to-back MVPs, came from Nathaniel Hackett and his scheme and the way he likes to run his offense. They bring some wide receivers over. This team is built to win. And Quinnen Williams is the anchor to this defense.
This 4-3 defense, the way it's built, the way Robert Saleh's defense has always been built, even when he was in Seattle, they always had those attacking 4-3 defense styles with a good defensive tackle that could rush the passer. And Quinnen Williams, you saw the numbers last year, got that to fruition finally in his second year playing in a 4-3 defense after he was held back kind of in a 3-4 defense with Greg Williams the first couple of years of his career, which is a lot harder for a defensive tackle to get the sack numbers and the pressure rate numbers that you saw Quinnen Williams get last year. His full potential was unlocked. He was, as a prospect, thought of as the fastest defensive tackle prospect we saw probably since Ndamukong Suh all season long, ever since that Bengals game where he had the outburst on the sideline, took over after that and really was consistent when a lot of these other guys were hurt or just inconsistent throughout the year and anchored that Jets pass rush to finally have something consistent, which they've had issues with in years past. They've always been a pretty good run defense for the most part, but they've never been good at getting to the quarterback, and Quinnen Williams changed all that in a heartbeat, and very well deserved. He got his money.
The Giants have $4.1 million in cap space after giving Daniel Jones and Dexter Lawrence big contracts this offseason. So then they would have to renegotiate a deal or drop a player if they would give Saquon Barkley that long-term extension.
Leonard Williams, we're looking at you.
I know Leonard Williams is an ex-Jet. I know a lot of Giant fans are not too fond of him. They didn't think that he had so much of a year to really brag about this past year, but the year before that, he did pretty well, and that's why they extended him. That was the problem about Leonard Williams when he played for the Jets. He had 1 or 2 good seasons, and then he disappeared. Muhammad Wilkerson, he got a big, huge contract from the Jets when he had that 13-sack season, and he was a Pro Bowl player, and then what happens? He disappears. He breaks his fibula. He was never the same. He goes to the Green Bay Packers, and then he's probably mopping floors over there at a Connecticut school district. I don't know. I feel bad for Saquon. I believe Saquon Barkley is everything to that Giants offense. Everybody keeps talking about Darren Waller. You don't know how it's going to fit throughout certain significant run patterns that they have run over the last couple of years under Dable's offense. And now you add a Darren Waller, giving him another weapon. You're giving Daniel Jones another weapon, but a guy that hasn't stayed healthy for 2 years. It doesn't really make any sense. If I was Saquon Barkley, I would think this is a smack in the face. And being that you have been all for the Giants since you was drafted by him, and I thought you were highly picked at number 2. Nevertheless, 2 out of the 4 years that you played, you've been an elite running back, and you've been everything that the Giants wanted you to be. So the fact that the numbers that you put up last year, you averaged about 77% of the snaps offensively for the New York Giants and did everything but play quarterback for the New York Giants, which tells me having a season like that, you should get the money. You should get the guaranteed money, and a lot more than $19.5 million.